Am I the asshole for telling my immigrant mother-in-law to stop putting eyeliner on my baby's eyes? My mill is an immigrant from India. There is an eyeliner from back home that has religious, cultural connotations. Basically it's soot and ghee, like butter, mixed together and it forms a black paste that's applied to the eyes of babies especially to ward off the evil eye. Because of culture etc. I live with my in-laws and she keeps wanting to put this eyeliner on my baby's eyes, twins. I keep telling her I'm not happy with it, I don't want foreign matter in my poor baby's eyes. My husband is also vehemently against this and he caught his mom doing it when I was at work. He told her off and told her she was shitty because the babies were understandably fussing at the product in their eyes. She is accusing me of whitewashing him and that I'm being a disrespectful daughter-in-law, but I'm just trying to protect my kids.
Not the asshole. I'm gonna get hate for this, but I also know where she's coming from. If she so desperately wants to do it, and you are comfortable with it, tell her to put the dot behind your child's ear. It does the same thing but it's not irritating for your babies and it is less visible. Sincerely, a mix of both cultures.
Not the asshole. That sounds quite risky. Even if it isn't risky, you and your husband are the parents, and you have the final say. Mill needs to respect that. That said, it will be difficult to get her to respect you while you are in her house.
Not the asshole. First, they're your children, not hers. 2. Putting needless goop around your baby's eyes is simply a health hazard. Considering she seems set in her ways and feels she is doing something good for the babies, maybe you could suggest she make them a talisman to ward off the evil eye to hang over their crib instead? Okay, so I'm going to weigh in for the sole reason that I am Indian and grew up with this exact tradition. I'll tell you that she'll stop doing that as the kid gets older because it's only a tradition for the young ones. You're not an asshole for not wanting to participate in this tradition because I understand the concerns with it being near the eyes. But I get that she wants her grandchild to experience Indian traditions from birth. I'll also mention that it isn't really dangerous when applied correctly, which she probably knows how to do, and many of us do it and are fine. Her whitewashing comment was unnecessary but probably stems from an actual worry that this kid might feel out of place or left out when that side of the family gets together. So I guess I'm going with not the asshole bordering on no assholes hair cause she should have respected your wishes.
Not the asshole. She is free to put whatever she wants on her own children's faces, but these are your babies so only your and your husband's opinion counts.
Not the asshole. They're your kids, not hers.
Yeah, no, not the asshole, and I'm so glad your husband has your back in this. You need to put your foot down about these kinds of things right now or you'll spend the rest of her life being forced into things you're not comfortable with. I know the culture is for the son to keep living with the parents even when married, but is there any chance of your family moving out?
Not the asshole. Your children, your rules.
Nah. It's a part of your culture to believe my kids, my rules and to disregard a cultural practice that is unscientific. It's part of your mother-in-law's culture to expect respect from her daughter-in-law and to consider it important. This is conflict stemming from both parties are having a hard time seeing outside of their cultural norms. You have a right to feel frustrated, but your mill has an equal right to feel disrespected. Not the asshole. Your kids, your rules.
Not the asshole. But hey, I'm Indian, so it's all culture and warding off evil mumbo-jumbo. A lot of the comments here don't know what they're talking about due to cultural dissonance. It's your kid, so again, you would know best. Kajal as it is called, isn't harmful per se but yeah. You know what's best for you, child.
Not the asshole. You're protecting your babies from getting hurt. What your mill is doing like a possibly harmful tradition to me. Also, they're yours and no one but the parents decides which cultural or other traditions they should take part in. Your mill sounds entitled.
Your child, your rules, that's all anyone else needs to know.
Not the asshole, and please don't let her apply any surma, that's what we call it in Pakistan, or kajal to your baby's eyes if it's commercially bought from India. They often contain very high levels of lead. Doctors here have started to specifically warn parents against this. There are 100 different ways she can impart culture to her grandkids without applying this.
WTF did I just read? No, not the asshole. This could cause severe eye infections.
Not the asshole, and I'm glad to hear your husband back you up. I have a culture too and I would love to share them, but if someone wishes for me to not do something around their babies, culture or not, she should respect your saying, and also you never know what might happen when something is so close to eyes like that, especially when they're still young, putting them around kids' eyes.
Not the asshole. There is lead in kajal and it's poisonous. Eye makeup used to protect children can poison them instead. Shots, Health News, npr/npr.org/section/11/22/2467062955/eye-makeup-use-to-protect-children-can-poison-them-instead.
Not the asshole. She can't dictate what you want for your children.
Not the asshole, but I do understand it because my family is also from India living in the West. It's understandable that you don't want it in the eyes, but tell her to make a dot on the forehead. That's what we do.
Nope. Your baby. Up to you and hubby. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, both you and the father are against it. It doesn't matter that you're living with her, she has to respect the fact that you're the parents and she has no legitimate say in the matter. I wouldn't put any form of makeup on a baby. You don't know what it might do to their skin. The fact this product would go on the eye area is especially concerning. It's not a cultural thing, it's a child safety thing. She's being inappropriate and unreasonable.
Not the asshole. Some historical practices around the world were harmful health-wise and have been abandoned. For example, nobody gives alcohol to toddlers to get them to sleep easily or feeds opium to babies for the same reason anymore. Keep protecting your babies.
Not the asshole. Honestly, if it was me, I would reply, yeah, sure, I am whitewashing him, you are probably right. Also, stop putting that on our kids' eyes or you will never be alone with them again.
Not the asshole. She is the one being disrespectful. When she says respect, she means you submitting to whatever she wants.
Cultural or not, these are your babies, you and your husband decided how you raise them, so not the asshole.
Not the asshole. And she is twice the asshole, once for trying to push back against a completely reasonable decision made by the child's parents, and once for trying to make this about race.
Not the asshole. No one puts that stuff in the baby's eyes anyway, they put a big dot up near the hairline, or behind the ear. As long as it's just real soot and ghee, and not kajal or eyeliner, it won't harm the baby. But if you don't want to compromise on this, you have every right to say no. What's your stance on the head shaving ceremony? Baby's first haircut is usually a full-on head shaving shortly before the first birthday. There are legitimate religious reasons for this as well as cultural ones. And since head shaving is considered the first major life milestone, there is usually a very big party involved with fancy clothes and food. If your mill is traditional enough to still believe in the evil eye, she will definitely be insisting on this ceremony. You need to be on the same page with your husband about these rituals and how you will be observing them. Not the asshole. Keep staying firm on this. You are the parent, they are your kids, what you say goes, always. It won't end with this if you let her get away with it. And I doubt it's 100% harmless.
Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. What the fuck is wrong with her? Not just overstepping boundaries, but taking a flying leap over them? These are your sweet babies. If mummy and daddy say no, then the answer is no. Are you able to move out?
Not the asshole. As an Asian myself, this was done to me and my sisters too. However, extremely rarely and by our mom. No one else. Your kid, your choice. Kick her out the next time she does this.
I'm curious, wouldn't black cause more damage to the eyes because the sun would absorb into the color? I understand that it's cultural, but it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not very knowledgeable in Indian culture, but I'd love to learn about it.
Not the asshole. Surma is absolutely stupid. It's a silly tradition, and if she wants to ward off the evil eye, she can just use it to put a beauty mark on the baby's face.
Definitely not the asshole. She's turned it into a race thing, too. South asshole. She's the asshole, and you need to get out of there ASAP with your husband, of course.
Not the asshole. Tradition or not, if it's harming yourself children, it needs to stop.
Not the asshole. Cultural practices which are literally harmful should be set aside or modified.
Not the asshole. My grandma put a dot on my forehead instead because my parents said no. Now a bunch of baby photos make me look like a super Indian baby, lol.
Not the asshole. If she can't respect you as baby's mother and do as she's told, babies and I would move out.
As someone of Indian descent born and raised in the States, I'd lean to not the asshole. Sounds to me like your husband formed his own opinion, and I definitely don't think anything should be forced onto a child that shows discomfort but can't speak to consent. I assume you otherwise show openness to any traditions that don't involve causing physical discomfort, crossing boundaries. Note, having grown up in the States, I don't even know of such a tradition. It seems from other commenters it may be outdated in our generation. I only know of Kajal, an Indian eyeliner that I wasn't even exposed to until I was like 14 when I went there for summer vacation. Sigh. Typical Indian mill antics. I know it sounds bad, but mills in India often are very possessive of their grandchildren. She sounds just like my grandma. Not the asshole. They're your kids and you and your husband get to decide what you're comfortable with. Your mill is trying to use cultural sensitivity and respect to twist your arm and make you do what she wants. Don't tolerate it. Trust me, if you cave on anything with this lady, she will never stop pushing you as long as she is in your life. To be fair to your mill, she may have been treated like trash by her own mill when she was your age, but it's time to break the cycle on that shit.
Not the asshole. My mother-in-law Indian would put what we called the cutty mark on our daughter. It was a black dot on her forehead and her left cheek. My understanding is that the mark protects the baby until the 1-year birthday where they go to the temple. I'm sure there's a compromise somewhere she can find. What part of India is she from? Do you know what religion and branch she follows?
Nah. It's your babies, your rules. But grandma is from a culture that heavily invests beliefs into these customs. She honestly isn't doing this to decorate your children, she believes it is for their protection and to keep their Indianness alive. Perhaps talk to her about an alternative that you both can agree on.
Not the asshole. But you might connect with her more if you learn the correct terms for what she is doing, using and redirecting her. She can put the dot behind their ear. She is frightened that her culture is being erased and her son is not helping. They don't even do it in India anymore, but she might be going to extremes to preserve her culture because of fear of erasure. I want to say you talk to her, but she might consider this rude, so ask your husband to talk to her about it. If he keeps being upset with her, she's gonna feel more justified and do more things behind your back.
You are the asshole. The fact that you call it a mixture of soot and, like butter, really says enough. You could also say that ghee is traditionally used in Ayurvedic medicine and that charcoal is used in Western medicine and cosmetics because it has purifying qualities, but clearly this is not a nuanced discussion. No, this is about a brown immigrant grandmother putting dirt in babies' eyes because of silly superstition, and you just want people to tell you that you're not the asshole.
Soft, you are the asshole. I grew up having it put on my eyes, and so did my sister and cousins. It became something I loved every time my mom pulled it out, and while I never did it for myself since I don't know how my mom does it, it makes me think of her every time I put on eyeliner, and it's a happy memory. In general, it's one of the ways I've been able to keep my roots present in my everyday life since moving out.
Is your husband actually against it, or are you forcing him to take sides? Let grandmas do what grandmas do. Let her impart some of her cultural things if they're relatively harmless.